Hi friends, welcome to this video on one of the most significant planets in your birth chart, Saturn, Lord Saturn, the planet of discipline, structure, responsibility, hard work and your karma. Alright, Saturn is a planet which is also responsible for rewarding you for your karmas, for your actions and hard work. Friends, Saturn, when it will be in a certain zodiac sign, what results it can give you. Saturn through all 12 signs from Aries to Pisces. Alright, but before I go to the individual placements of Saturn, a quick introduction. Saturn is a planet which stands for the karma that you need to kind of perform and execute in this lifetime. The challenges that you may have to face, okay, in reaching your life goals. All right, the hard work that you have to put in, the efforts that you have to make in order to realize your goals in life. Okay, so that is what Saturn denotes in your birth chart. All right, now so Saturn can also definitely show where you need to focus actually, and how you need to focus on your work. All right, now friends, we know that Saturn has two zodiac signs. I mean, Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. All right, Aquarius is Saturn's Moola Trikon sign. Okay, first about Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of structure, discipline, rules, restrictions, regulations, even authority. It is also the sign of hard work, your karma, your profession, and so on. Okay. Now Saturn's Moola Trikona sign is Aquarius. Now Capricorn is an earth sign. Okay. So Capricorn sign is connected with being very practical, methodical, calculating, and so on. All right. And here Aquarius, which is Saturn's Moola Trikona sign, is an air sign. So Saturn is primarily considered to be an airy planet. Okay, so here in Aquarius, we see that this airy sign of Aquarius can also be connected with revolting against authority. All right, and that's what Saturn in essence is actually. We all know about the Vedic mythological texts, and in various in our Vedic mythology, we know that Saturn, Lord Shani, had a rebellious attitude towards his own father, Lord Sun. All right, so Saturn could be the ultimate rebel, the activist also, and all that possibility is kind of highlighted by the sign of Aquarius. When you stand up for your own rights, when you protest against injustice, when you can be an activist, a rebel, you may also be looked upon as an outcast. Okay, people may find you very strange also, and that is Aquarius. Aquarius makes you unique, extraordinary. All right. And Aquarius sign is also connected. It is an air sign, so it is a sign of intelligence, intellectual power, intellectual insights. It is also the sign of research, focusing on something, doing a lot of research, investigation. Aquarius is also connected with all of that. Okay, so yeah, so now you have to find out in which zodiac sign Saturn is placed, but you cannot forget that Saturn denotes all of these things, which are also signified by the Capricorn and Aquarius signs. All right, so in the chart of the cosmic man, you have the Aquarius in the 11th house, and Capricorn falls in the 10th house of profession. Aquarius falls in the house of professional gains, or all kinds of gains, your desires, your wish fulfillment, your network, and so on. So Saturn rules these two most important houses, 10th and 11th houses. All right, okay. Now, friends, let's before I go on to the results, or before I discuss, you also should look at Saturn's position, in which zodiac sign it is placed, even in the D9 chart. That is very important. All right, look at the Navamsha also. Yes, the Navamsha chart or D9 gets activated generally after the native attains the age of 30. So from say 33, 35 onwards, that age onwards, the Navamsha chart gets activated. It is a chart of your fortune. Okay, at about that age, or from that age onwards, you start reaping to some extent the benefit or the gains from your hard work, and your fortune may shift, right? And that is when D9 chart is also the chart of marriage, because around that age, at about that age, people also think of settling down. So there is a shift in fortune after marriage, and so that is also the chart of marriage. But actually D9 is primarily the chart of your fortune. All right, so your fortune, luck, destiny, whatever you may call it. So it's important to look at Saturn's placement in that D9 chart. But yes, those results you will get after the age of 33. Say from 33 onwards, you will get those results actually, which are there. I mean, you will get the results according to Saturn's placement in D9. This can happen. All right, and in your Lagna chart, which is actually the chart of your life, overall life in general, so that zodiac sign in which Saturn is placed, so that results you may experience throughout your life. All right, friends, at the very introduction beginning, I would like to mention that it's always important to look at Saturn's dispositor. Say Saturn is in Virgo, then you need to look at how Mercury is placed in the chart. That's very important. That will enable you to understand Saturn's dignity in your chart. All right, so let's get started. Saturn in Aries. All right, Saturn in Aries, in order to understand Saturn's position in Aries, whether it will give you good results, average, or whatever results, you have to definitely look at how Mars is placed in your chart, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Sun also exalts in Aries. So look at Mars and Sun in your chart, how they are placed. All right, if they are more or less well placed, you will get good results even if Saturn is in Aries. All right, but there is a condition. If you do something on your own, if you're into independent business, then you will really be able to gain a lot more. All right, but if Mars and Sun are well placed, even if you are doing a job, you can do well. All right, but friends, one more thing I would say. What does Saturn in Aries mean? It means that Aries is a zodiac sign which is connected with impulsiveness, hastiness, while Saturn likes to be steady, slow, and very mature, and very, is a deep thinker, and so on. Aries is connected with Mars. There's no question of thinking much. It's only the question of acting impulsively. And that's why Saturn feels a bit uncomfortable in Aries. And so it is considered to be kind of debilitated in Aries. All right. But the reality is that this sign, Saturn in Aries, actually this placement denotes that you have to make decisions maybe quickly, and or you may make decisions very quickly with regard to your profession, and those quick impulsive decisions may not be that good for you if Mars and Sun are not so well placed. But if you take up a decision even impulsively, that may turn out to be lucky for you if Sun and Mars are more or less well placed. Okay, when Sun and Mars are well placed, you have self-confidence, you have insight into things, you have knowledge, you know that yes, I have to do this now, and this is the right time to make a shift, to change, and I have to take a step, and I have to make this decision, I have to make this change in my profession. So you are confident when Sun and Mars are placed. So you end up making, even if you take that decision kind of abruptly, that decision turns out to be good, and it kind of it's in your own favor. Actually, it can also bring about good fortune to you. Your profession may kind of reach another level of success. So all these things will happen when Mars and Sun are well placed. All right, if not so well placed, you can do the remedies for Mars and Sun. Now friends, so Saturn in Aries, because this can make, Saturn is your profession, also how you act in life, even your actions and karmas. So in this lifetime, you could make certain decisions hastily. All right, so this is possible. So this is your karma actually in this lifetime, that in this lifetime you may make certain decisions without thinking much, and you may just plunge into action. Okay, so if you have done that in a really thoughtless way, we have not actually given any proper thought to it, then definitely the native with Saturn in Aries may have to regret. And that is your karma in this lifetime, that you may have to regret what you have done. All right, so when you have Saturn in Aries, you actually need to be careful. All right, you need to be careful. You have to control your desire to act impulsively. You have to kind of regulate that desire. That's very important. All right, then so Saturn in Aries people, their professions can change. I mean, they may have to start something all over again. That's possible. Change of jobs and all. If they're in job, they may do a business, but if that business doesn't work, they may have to start all over again. So all these things can happen. All right, so what you need to do when you have Saturn in Aries, you have to actually have proper knowledge, insights, okay, and then you have to act. Remember this. All right, and it's a very good position for getting into independent business. All right, actually when Saturn is in Aries, so suppose you're working, you're at a workplace, you may have a tendency to act impulsively, and Aries is ruled by Mars, so you have that fighting spirit, competitive spirit, you have that argumentative spirit. All right, so you may get into conflicts with people at your workplace when you have Saturn in Aries. You may get into problems, you may revolt against authority and so on. Okay, which kind of these things may not be good for your career. They will not be actually. If you enter into conflicts with your seniors, superiors, with higher authorities at your workplace, then these things will not be good for your career. You may again have to leave that job, or you may be terminated, and again you have to start all over again. So also when you have Saturn in Aries, control your tendency, your desire to revolt against authority. You know that they are being unjust, you know they are being unfair, but even then you have to try to just keep quiet. I mean, and try to ignore. I know it's going to be very difficult, very challenging for you, but try to do that. It's going to help you. All right, so yeah, and Aries is actually a fire sign. Okay, it's a fire sign, so that passion, desire, okay, that desire to bring about change by dint of your knowledge, energy, hard work and efforts. That's why it's very good for doing your own independent business, wherein you don't have to listen to anyone else. There's no higher authority above you. You can make your own decisions. But yes, if you're into independent business, you'd stick to one business. Don't go on changing. That today I'm doing this. It's okay to change once or twice, but don't go on changing your business forever. I mean, you have to settle down. You have to finally choose a particular area. You have to choose what sort of business you have to do. So that decision you have to make, and then stick to it, and make efforts, and you will rise if you're doing independent business with Saturn in Aries. Now this is Dharma Trikona. So Saturn is in a sign which is part of actually the Dharma trine, right? So that revolting attitude, no, that will be something which will come very naturally to you. That will be part of your nature, inherent personality actually. Yes, it will be very difficult for you to tolerate injustice, and this will happen when Sun and Mars are also well placed. All right, but if you're at a workplace, and you know, every workplace there is politics, you know, politics is there everywhere, you cannot escape from that. So you have to understand that I have to be diplomatic. I have to somehow deal with my boss or superiors in a very diplomatic way, so that I don't get into trouble. All right, so yeah, now let's move on to Saturn in one more thing, Aries. Saturn in Aries, no? So you will see positive growth in your profession if you really make efforts when you have Saturn in Aries, because Aries is the sign of self efforts, of courage also, willpower. So everything, all the success that you want is within yourself actually. You have to remember that. So you have to take the initiative, you have to have that willpower, that vision to move ahead, work hard. That's what you have to remember. All right, okay. So actually Saturn in Aries people, they can be very passionate also about their work, very enthusiastic about their work if Sun and Mars are well placed. And that enthusiasm, passion, that desire to work hard will take them a long way and can also make them successful. Now let's move on to Saturn in Taurus. When you have Saturn in Taurus, Taurus is a sign ruled by Venus. All right, now so your profession may be connected to something to a certain line of profession which was followed by someone in your family. That's possible. Your profession may be connected to food, beverages. You may have to use your speech in your profession when you have Saturn in Taurus. All right, now when you have Saturn in Taurus, then definitely if Venus is well placed in the chart, then you can be someone very hardworking, very methodical, goal oriented, and very grounded, practical. When you have Saturn in Taurus, you are always kind of focusing on your goals, that I have to attain my professional goals so that I can make money. So that will be your focus actually. So when you have Saturn in Taurus, all right, so Taurus is a sign which is definitely connected to food. So maybe you can donate some food to the poor and needy. That will be good for you actually. If you do that, that will be good for your profession overall, for your life overall. So you can do that. Now Saturn in Taurus, so what else we can say? That you will because Taurus is part of the Earth trine, the trine of materialistic pursuits. So you will really want to focus on your materialistic pursuits, on your on how to gain money, on how to focus on my profession, on how to focus on my day-to-day work so that I can gain from my profession. You'll focus on that if Taurus and if Venus is well placed. All right, now Saturn in Taurus, you can also you can work in any finance sector. It could be the banking sector, any finance sector. You may make use of your speech in your profession. So even you could be a teacher, a counselor. Yes, you will make use of your knowledge in your profession, definitely. So whatever knowledge you have, you will use that in your profession, because this is the sign of Taurus. You can use your knowledge even to heal others. Okay, so you could be into counseling, teaching also. All right. So yeah, Saturn and Taurus people, they always set goals for themselves. They believe in reaching their goals in a very realistic, practical, methodical and systematic way, actually. So it will give you good results when if Venus is also well placed in the chart. All right. Okay friends, so now let's move on to Saturn in Gemini. When Saturn will be in Gemini, all right, Gemini is an air sign, the sign of intelligence. So such people will be intelligent actually when you have Saturn in Gemini. All right, they may also at times act in a dual way, because they will have a certain duality in themselves. So that when they will act, their actions, or whenever they'll act, they will exhibit their dual nature, their dual character. So their actions at times, you know, they can act in a very diplomatic way, because they are very clever. Their actions will show that they are very clever people, very intelligent when you have Saturn in Gemini. But for that, Mercury Mercury has to be well placed in your chart. All right. So if Mercury is more or less well placed, you will do very well. You could get work in the media industry. You could be a writer. You could be a journalist. You could be a reporter. You could be an actor, singer, dance, any skills you may have, any kind of skills. And those skills, will enable you to do well in your profession. You could be you could be into mimicry, acting, singing, dancing, and so on. You could be into any sort of media, even media technology. You could be working with computers, computer technology also. Okay, so yeah, when you have Saturn in Gemini, it's possible. So you are making use of computer technology to reach out to your clients. Okay, so to help your company gain from your business deals. So whatever business deals you are engaged in, so all that is you are doing all that with the help of you are communicating with people through online technology, internet technology, computer technology. That is also possible. Okay, you are making use of softwares and all to kind of you're using all of that. Okay, various communication devices, you are using various gadgets. Okay, even softwares to kind of do your business. That is also possible when you have Saturn in Gemini. Okay, because Gemini is also the sign of information technology. So you could be working, actually that was the word I was going to give you. You could be in the field of information technology. Exactly. All right. Yeah. Yes. And so Saturn in Gemini, you could be very skillful. You could have a number of hobbies and interests, but Saturn in Gemini people, they can also be a little confused also, because they have so many, they could have a number of skills and hobbies. So when it comes to choosing their profession, they may think that I have this skill also, that skill also, I have so many skills. Now which one should I choose? Which path should I choose? Okay, if Mercury is more or less well placed, then you will figure out that what skill you have to choose, and you have to, along which direction you have to make efforts, you are able to figure out. Otherwise you may also be confused. This is also possible. So when you have Saturn in Gemini, it's very important to figure out what you really want to do. Okay, which hobby or which skill that you have is going to be linked to your work or profession. That you have to figure out. That's very important. Okay, now let's move on to and Gemini sign is part of the Kama Trikona, the trine of materialistic desires. Okay, so all the desires that you have. So you can fulfill all your desires if you focus on your work. So in order to fulfill your desires, in order to fulfill your ambition in life, in order to reach your goals and targets, you will have to focus on work. That is the only key, because Gemini is also the sign of making efforts, moving ahead with courage, determination, willpower, and making efforts. So when you do that, you can really be successful in your career, and over time you will see growth in your career and a lot of prosperity too. Alright, now let's move on to Saturn in Cancer. Alright, when you have Saturn in Cancer, you may go away from your homeland. It's possible for your work. You may have to leave your homeland, go somewhere else. That's possible. You may be distanced from your mother because of your work. That's also possible. Now Saturn in Cancer, no? What else we can say? Just a moment, friends. Yeah. Saturn in Cancer, we can also say that you will, okay, Cancer is a water sign. Yes, it is a water sign. So your profession may be connected to some creative field, something to do with creativity, originality, creativity, some artistic field also. When you have Saturn in Cancer, you could be a singer, you could be a painter, you could be into any field of creativity, okay, even originality. All right, you could be an artist. Now when you have Saturn in Cancer, then you have to see how Moon is placed in your chart. If Moon is more or less well placed, no, then you can be very creative, you can be very intuitive, you can make use of your intuition. All right, and your profession can be linked to any field which is connected with intuition. With intuition, research, investigation, analysis. So you could be into psychology, you could be into the occult. Yes, and yeah, I mean, you could definitely want to acquire knowledge through in-depth study and research, because Cancer is also the sign in which Jupiter exalts. So you want to acquire more and more knowledge, maybe hidden knowledge, maybe occult knowledge, mystical knowledge, or any kind of knowledge. You're doing a lot of research. So in order to gain knowledge in your profession, then you will get good results. You may have to travel because of your profession. When you have Saturn in Cancer, you may have to undertake travel because of your profession. That is also possible. Okay. Now you have Saturn in Cancer, then we can say that your profession, you could be a Vastu consultant. It could be connected to Vastu. You could be an interior decorator. All right, you could be into real estate industry. All right, yeah. So you could deal with property, you could deal with land, assets, you could deal with flats, you could be into real estate, okay, and property business also. When you have Saturn in Cancer, definitely you may encounter certain obstacles in having your own assets. Whenever you go to buy a house, purchase some land, you may encounter certain obstacles there. It's possible. Okay, so you do one thing. You can donate things which are connected to the Moon. All right, so you can donate food. You can donate food, maybe fruit juices, or even water. So you can donate all that to the downtrodden, to the needy. You could go to some hospital and you can make some donations to patients. That is also possible. Any kind of donation. You could Saturn in Cancer, you just have to show that you are concerned. Okay, so you have to show that, or you have to truly be concerned for the needy, okay, and then you will see that will be good for your profession when you're compassionate, kind-hearted, okay. So you can donate even milk to the temple, you can donate it to orphanages, all these things, milk, rice also you can donate, or whatever, you can donate cash, money also. So that's a very good remedy for Saturn in Cancer. Now you have to focus. Actually, Cancer is a water sign, the sign of intuition, the sign of, you know, in-depth knowledge also. Water sign, in-depth knowledge, understanding, all right. So when you know, Saturn is in Cancer, you could do very well if you're in any field of research, investigation, if you are in one second friends, just 1 second, Bhabhi, yeah, just give me 2 seconds. Yeah, सुनिए, वो जो वो टेबल है ना, किचन का टेबल, उसको साफ़ कर दीजिए, ड्राइंग रूम का टेबल, गैस साफ़ कर दीजिएगा, ठीक है, और ड्राइंग रूम का डस्टिंग कर दीजिएगा, ठीक है ना. या ऑलराइट. सो या, so you could okay, so what I was telling you, yeah, so you will get good results when you have Saturn in Cancer, when you are you know, making intuitive decisions in your profession. So in your profession, no, you need to act very intuitively. But again, moon is a planet which is again, you know, known for fluctuation. That is why, you know, your profession may undergo a lot of changes, okay, and okay, and you may not have any clue that your profession somehow is not stable. This also can happen because moon is a planet which is in a state of flux. All right, so that is why, you know, what you have to do when you have Saturn in Cancer, you have to maybe undertake travel for your profession and use your sense of intuition in your profession. That's very important. Or use your creativity, artistic abilities or originality in your profession. That will set you apart and make you successful in your profession when you have Saturn in Cancer. All right, yeah. Now this is part of the Earth, the Moksha trine, the trine of intuition, the trine of self-realization also. So maybe you can attain self-realization, you can you know, you will be able to kind of discover your own identity through your work. That is possible, right? Your work will enable you to kind of, you know who you are and what you are capable of, definitely, okay. So it will take you towards self-realization. 1 second. Yeah, okay. Now friends, let's go to Saturn in Leo. Yeah, one more thing I forgot to mention. When you have Saturn in Cancer, you could also have your own restaurant. You could be into restaurant business also, food business, definitely. I always tell people whenever they definitely seek consultation from me that see to it that the restaurant sells vegetarian food. That is always better. Okay, vegetarian, any cuisine but vegetarian, okay, that would be good. Yes, so that would always be better. Okay, so we need to be kind and compassionate to animals, birds and creatures, friends. All right, so that you have to remember, because Cancer is again the sign of compassion also. So yeah, so it's always good if you have a vegetarian restaurant. Okay. Alright, now let's move on to Saturn in Leo. When you have Saturn in Leo, Leo is connected to Sun, alright, to government also. So you could, you may get some government job. That is possible when you have Saturn in Leo. Okay, government job. And again, you see, Sun is a planet which is kind of not friendly, in a way inimical to Saturn, or Saturn is inimical to Sun. So you may do some job, but you may also not maybe enjoy that totally. You may do it because you have to do. This is possible when you have Saturn in Leo. Okay, you are doing that job because, I mean, there's no option. You have to do because you need, you need money, resources to run the family, to take care of yourself and expenses and so on. So that is why you are just doing the job. You're sticking to the job for that reason. But you may not be really happy doing it. Okay, even if you don't want, you have to do. That is possible when Saturn is in Leo. One more thing I have also seen about people who have Saturn in Leo, they look very young. Yes, people who have Saturn in Leo, no, they look very young actually. They, even if along with their advancement in age also, they don't look old actually. Means they don't look so mature. They look very young when they have Saturn in Leo. That's also something which I have seen. Alright. Okay, now Saturn in Leo, what else we can say? Yeah, your profession may be connected. If you are into independent business, you will love your work. If you have Saturn in Leo, you have Saturn in Leo, but you're doing something independently. You're not serving any authority. You're not working under any authoritative figure or under any authority. You are your own boss and you are working for your own self. And if you're into independent business, then you will do very well and you will love your job. Saturn in Leo, you will love your profession if you are into independent business. Yes, so try to start some independent business of your own, at some point of time in your life when you think that you have some capital, and nowadays people don't even need much capital for business. Actually, you have to be very intelligent and smart, and you have to be aware of what is going on around you, because social media today has empowered you so much. So if you have knowledge, you share your knowledge on social media platforms, and that is kind of almost free of cost. Okay, so gone are those days when people used to think, like our ancestors and forefathers, that for starting a business I need a huge capital. No, that is not true today. We are so lucky actually in a way because of that. So social media technology or internet technology, if used properly, it is a blessing for us. So we can start our business. You must just have some skill. That skill could be anything. You could love gardening, you could love taking care of pets. I'm just giving you a small example. So you could do anything under the sun, and if you really love that, you can start that. Okay, side by side, that could be a subsidiary thing. And when your hobby will turn into your profession, you never know. And maybe you love interior decoration, maybe you love fashion designing, so you can have your own blog. You can have your own blog on social media sites. You can have your own video blog or vlog. Why not? People, if they like your posts, they will connect with you. If you're a fashion designer, interior designer, so whatever, interior decorator, so whatever passion you have, we are living in such an age that we should not think that oh yes, I cannot follow my passion. No, you can follow your passion. Definitely you can. Social media has empowered you. Alright, so maybe you're doing a job, a 9-to-5 job, you're not so happy with it. Okay, I mean you're doing it because you need money, so do that, but don't give up your dream. Don't give up on your dreams. Okay, you need to believe in your dreams also, and you need to do that. So whenever you have a holiday, whenever there's a weekend, you can work on your passion. You can also do something to fulfill your dreams and passion. Okay, you can do that, and over time you can be successful, definitely, if you're really passionate about what you do. All right, so Saturn in Leo, you can do all of that, sharing your knowledge. That's a very good thing, because Leo is also connected to knowledge. Yes, so people with this placement, they could also get into teaching. They could be teacher, definitely They could even be professor, like they could be into the teaching profession. Saturn in Leo people, they can also get into any sort of mystical knowledge, even occult knowledge. Okay, because Leo is the sign of sun, so they can get into occult knowledge. All right. So Saturn in Leo people, yeah, I mean, they want to bring about a positive change through their actions. Okay, whatever knowledge they have, they want to make use of their knowledge in their profession, and they want that they want their profession actually to bring about a positive change in their life. When people have Saturn in Leo, Leo is a fire sign, the sign of passion, positive change, right? So you want to focus on that. So if you are doing something of your own, it's going to be very good. So if you've not started, then do something. If you're doing some job, it's great, but start something of your own, also along with your job, and you will see over time you will grow, and that will bring about a positive change in your life. All right, now let's move on to fire sign. Leo is fire sign. It's part of the Dharma trine. Okay, so that is your inherent nature. What is your inherent nature? Your inherent nature is such that you are creative. Actually, Leo is also the sign of creativity, interestingly. So by nature you are actually creative. So if you need to make use of your creativity and knowledge in your profession. So that will, if you do that, then you can get real happiness from your job. Okay, so yeah, you can do that. You can get you could be a healer, you could be a teacher, you could be an occultist, you could also be a very good counselor for that matter when you have Saturn in Leo. Definitely, all these things we can say, and you can become prosperous over time because of your profession. You can even be famous because of your profession. All right. Yeah, initially some obstacles could be there in your education or in acquiring knowledge. There are some obstacles you may encounter. That is also possible. But if you really believe in yourself, if you really have self-confidence, and if you believe in your knowledge, then no one can stop you. And over time, you will become prosperous because of your profession. All right. Now let's move on to Saturn in Virgo. Again, Virgo is a sign ruled by Mercury. So these people can also look very young. That's possible. They may look very young. This is also possible. Then Saturn in Virgo people, Virgo is again a Mercury. How Mercury is placed in the chart you have to see, and Mercury is Saturn's friend. All right. So Saturn feels comfortable in Virgo. All right, and Virgo is connected with being, it's an earth sign. So it's very connected with being very methodical, grounded, practical, systematic, goal-oriented, detail-oriented, and all these qualities are shown by Virgo. So people who have Saturn in Virgo, they want that their everything, their work, the way they work, everything should be very systematic, very methodical. They are in their approach to work. All right, and that actually makes them successful. Now you have to see how the dispositor Mercury is placed. Is Saturn's dispositor, for example, here it's Mercury. How whether it's being aspected by Jupiter, then you will get even better results. All right, so you can become prosperous because of your profession. Yes, you can gain a lot of prosperity, even name and fame in this lifetime, even wealth. All right, so if it has the aspects, if Saturn's dispositor has the aspects of benefics, then it will be very good for you. Okay, so Saturn in Virgo, yeah, you really want everything to be systematic, otherwise it's very difficult for you to work. You are disciplined, you believe in rules, regulations, you believe in decorum, and you are very detail oriented when you have Saturn in Virgo. So such people can do very well if they are doing any sort of research, investigation. They'll do very well when they are undertaking in-depth study and research in their profession. So Saturn in Virgo is a very good placement for becoming a lawyer, getting into the field of law. Saturn in Virgo, you can get into the field of medical science. You can do very well as a doctor, as a surgeon, even as a veterinary doctor. one who takes care of animals, and so you could be into veterinary science, medical science. All right, so you could be you could get into social service. All right, definitely you could be even a social activist. Yes, you could fight for the rights of maybe the downtrodden, the unprivileged, even for animals. You could fight against animal cruelty. Okay, you may want people to be vegetarian because you don't want cruelty against animals. So all these things are possible when Saturn is in Virgo. You may stand up for the rights of animals also to live on this planet. Then animals and birds, I mean all creatures. When you have Saturn in Virgo, you can do very well. You will have a very analytical bent of mind, so you can do a lot of research, investigation, because Mercury, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So, and even the 6th house has the sign of Virgo. 6th house is also connected to Saturn and Mars energy. So you're very insightful intellectuals actually when you have Saturn in Virgo. So you can also get into any field which is connected to research, investigation. You can also be a very good occultist with this profession. You can get into occult knowledge. You can get into any field of knowledge or any field of profession which is connected with research, analytical insights or analytical abilities. Yeah, so it's possible when you have Saturn in Virgo. All right, now a Virgo is again a sign which is connected to your intestines and all. So you have to, just now I suddenly remembered, when you have Saturn in Virgo, you could also have certain digestion issues. You may not be able to digest certain food stuff. It's possible. So there could be certain dietary restrictions, and you need to take care of your intestines. You need to take care of your digestive system. That's also true. All right, so when you have Saturn in Virgo, you can do well in your job also, because Virgo is connected to job or any kind of work which you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You will benefit from that. Any kind of work, even if you're doing any work, even if it's your business, you're doing it regularly on a day-to-day basis, you're achieving small targets every day, you'll do very well. But basically it is a sign of job. So when you have Saturn in Virgo, you can excel in job. Okay, and even independent business, but for that you have to be very methodical, very disciplined, very time bound, and very detail oriented. Then you can succeed in any kind of profession. All right, so yeah, all these things about Saturn in Virgo. Virgo is also a sign which is connected with obstacles, certain conflicts. So be careful if you are working somewhere, at your workplace. You may get into conflicts with people, so be careful. Okay, you could be a victim of office politics. All right, but you have to deal with that. So the best thing is to maintain silence and diplomacy. All right, because politics is there everywhere. We can't escape from that. Politics is there even in the family. So office, definitely everywhere there's politics. So you have to be diplomatic enough to deal with situations at your workplace, so that you don't get into conflicts with people, especially don't get into conflicts with your superiors and seniors. That could again be problematic for your profession. All right, so yeah, Saturn in Virgo, how Mercury is placed. If Mercury is well placed, you will get good results. Now again, if Mercury is with Ketu, or if Mercury is with the 8th lord, then you can experience change in jobs a lot. So that's why I told you need to look at the dispositor, how dispositor is placed in the chart. All right, Saturn's dispositor. So in case of Saturn in Virgo, the dispositor is Mercury, how it is placed in your chart. So even if it is placed with Ketu or 8th lord, then there may be change of jobs. But if ultimately Mercury is well placed, then you will do well. Actually, you will finally, you may change your job, but finally you will land up somewhere well, and you will kind of do well you can excel. And yes, if the dispositor is with Ketu and 8th or 8th lord, if you're absorbing the energy of Ketu or 8th lord, then you would get wonderful results in your profession. So Ketu or 8th lord are connected to research, again investigation. They are connected to the occult and even any sort of research and so on. Now let's move on to Saturn in Libra. Wow, this is the sign of Saturn's exaltation. Please find out how Venus is placed in the chart. If Venus is well placed, aspected by benefics like Jupiter, then you could be into the teaching profession, or you could become very prosperous because of your profession. All right, you may become wealthy because of your profession, wealthy and prosperous. All right. So when you have Saturn in Libra, this is the sign of exaltation of Saturn. Saturn feels comfortable in Libra because Venus is also Saturn's friend. So Venus more or less how it is placed. All right, you have to find out. So if Venus is well placed, aspected by benefics or well placed, then you will do well in your profession, whether it is your job, whether it is your independent business. If the dispositor of Saturn here, which is Venus, if it is well placed, then even if you are in the field of job, you can do very well in your field of job. If you are working somewhere, you could be at a very high position there. Suppose you are working in an organization, then you can reach the top. You could be in a very you could have a very high administrative post over there. All right, so you could really do very well when you have Saturn in Libra. And if the dispositor is well placed and you are also kind of hardworking and using your intelligence, because Libra is an air sign, the sign of intelligence, then day by day you will see growth in your profession. Okay, so you will see growth. And if you're using your intelligence, if you're using your ability to balance things properly, Libra is a sign of balance. Okay, it's all about how you strike a balance, okay, at your workplace, or Libra is also the sign of the marketplace. So Libra is connected to independent business also. So if you're really using your sense of intelligence, if you're using your ability to think over matters deeply, okay, if you really have intellectual insights into things, then whether you're doing job, whether you're doing business, you will become very successful with Saturn in Libra. Now suppose you have Saturn in Libra and you're into independent business, then definitely Libra is the sign of give and take. It is a sign of even diplomacy. It is a sign of all kinds of agreements, treaties and pacts and legal bonds. So you could also be a lawyer. You could be very successful as a lawyer. That could be your independent business also. You could practice law independently also, right? So that is a sign where that Saturn in Libra can make you successful in the field of law. It could make you successful if you are doing some profession, if you're into some profession, into any profession, if you are using your sense of intelligence and intellectual insights, if you are dealing with people in a very diplomatic way and you know how to manage your work, then definitely you will excel in your profession. And Saturn in Libra, you may also undertake foreign travel because of your profession. If you undertake foreign travel, you can also benefit further from your profession. All right. Saturn in Libra, if you're working in an organization also, you may be working for an MNC, a foreign MNC, or you may be working for an organization which has foreign connections. That is also possible when you have Saturn in Libra. So if the dispositor Venus is well placed, and if Saturn is in Libra, and if Saturn is also not under any malefic influence, then definitely you can do very well in your profession, whether it is job, whether it is independent business. All right. So yeah, so all these things you can say. Libra is the sign of Kama. It's a part of the Kama Trikona. It's a zodiac sign which is which falls in the Kama Trikona, the trine of desires, your materialistic desires. So definitely it can make you very ambitious. When you have Saturn in Libra, you can be very ambitious in life. You can have a lot of desires to gain from your profession and all that, because it's the trine of desires. Yeah, and so it is your hard work, it is your intellectual insights, it is your intellectual power, it is your knowledge. Actually, it is your knowledge which will enable you to gain from your profession. All right, so when you have Saturn in Libra, you need to keep these things in mind. Okay, so just focus on your knowledge, enhance your intellectual power, and it is your power of intelligence and intellectual insights which will enable you to rise in your professional life. Okay, yeah, people who with Saturn in Libra also, who have Saturn in Libra, because it's an air sign, the sign of intelligence. Air sign is also connected with focusing on something, going deep into things, even researching, because air signs are connected to that also, because they are the ultimate signs of intelligence, intellectual prowess and capacities. So you can do anything, you can acquire knowledge, you can do research, and that is why I said investigation, research. So field of law is also very good for you. Okay, any field, it could be even research in medical science, any field. So when you have Saturn in Libra, you can do very well. All right, but yeah, you have to focus on your knowledge, intelligence, on your analytical skills also, and your ability to research as well. Now let's move on to Saturn in Scorpio. When you have Saturn in Scorpio, that means what? Again, Scorpio is a water sign, the sign of intuition. Okay, so definitely you will do very well in your profession if you're doing some research, PhD, MPhil, any research, any sort of research you are doing, or you're doing any research in the field of law, in the field of medical science. If you're into chartered accountancy, you're connected with any investigation, research in any subject, that is going to be very good for your profession. All right, Saturn in Scorpio, you may encounter obstacles in your profession. There could be ups and downs in your profession, changes may come about in your profession. You may leave your job and do something else later on. So changes will come, and your profession can also transform your life when you have Saturn in Scorpio. When you have Saturn in Scorpio, then you will do very well if you move into the occult fields of knowledge. So profession in the field of occult could be very good. Your profession may be connected not just to occult but also to spiritual practices. Yes, you could get into meditation, yoga. All right, so you could be a very good healer with this position, Saturn in Scorpio. You could be in the field of technology, any field of technology and research. So any kind of technology you could be into. So that is also a very good position for Saturn in Scorpio. It's actually very good for those people who want to get into technology, into research, into the occult, into spirituality, and so on. Okay, certain obstacles definitely can be there, certain challenges can be there, but you have to go on with your research, with your investigation. You have to go on with that. Okay, and you have to be a fighter. You must never give up. Then Saturn in Scorpio, you will get a lot of good results. There will be struggle, there will be trials, tribulations, problems, okay, obstacles, but you will have to overcome all of that. You will have to overcome all of that with the help of your fighting spirit, with the help of your patience, perseverance, your ability to get up and fight back. Actually, you may stumble and fall, but you need to get up and you need to fight back. So if you have that spirit, then Saturn in Scorpio will give you very good results. You should never give up. Use your intuition. Water sign Scorpio, so use your intuition in your profession. That's why I said all these fields, they should be profession connected to research, investigation, occult, medical science. You could be a surgeon. So all these fields will be very good for you, whichever field is connected to research and investigation. One second, दरवाजा खोल के रखिएगा ना. So yeah, so friends, what I was going to tell you, yeah, Scorpio. Now Saturn in Scorpio, what else we can say? Scorpio energy. So Scorpio is connected to transformation. All right, so yeah, so it is your profession actually which is going to bring about a transformation in your life. Okay, it's going to change your life eventually, once and for all. Yes, and yeah, you will kind of definitely be able to attain self-realization through your profession. Okay, you will be able to somehow discover your identity through your profession. That is also possible. All right, you need to engage in self-introspection. You need to go deep within yourself. It's very good for you to spend some time in meditation, to connect with your inner self, higher self, to know what is actually the purpose of your life. And then after you have, gone deep within yourself, you listen to the voice of your conscience, and then you should act. All right, so it should be whatever actions you will take up in your profession, they should be kind of premeditated. Okay, very premeditated, and they have to be well thought out, well researched. Then you will do very well in your profession. Saturn in Scorpio, yeah, so if you really have that ability, if you really have that fighting spirit, you will come out of your obstacles, you will overcome your problems, and you will become, and eventually you will become successful in your profession. All right, yeah, your profession will go a long way in transforming you as an individual. Okay, you could feel that you have a very deep rooted connection with your profession. Okay, so you may feel that when you have Saturn in Scorpio. All right, so yeah, I mean, so, and yeah, make use of your intuition, make use of your creativity, originality in your profession. That's very important. Okay, so that is again important. So you need to make use of your creativity also and originality in your profession. Now Saturn in Scorpio, yeah, all these things we can say when Saturn is in Scorpio. Let's move on to Saturn in Sagittarius. So when you have one more thing, when you have Saturn in Scorpio, so you also should consider being charitable and compassionate. You should also consider being charitable and compassionate to the downtrodden. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, maybe you could be charitable to people who work in the cemetery. All right, or in people who work in the cremation grounds. You can give them some donation, give them some clothes, or you can give them do some donations, help out these people. You can help them in any way you want. Okay, so donating something worthwhile to those people who are working in such places. Okay, even people who are working in 8,000 people who are working, those peoples who are even people who are scavengers and all. Yes, who clean up the streets and everything. They are behind the cleanliness that we see around in our city, okay, in our society. So people who clean up all that garbage and everything, so scavengers and all, you need to be kind and charitable to them. Okay, so yeah, so all these things we can say when Saturn is in Scorpio, like donate something to people who are in sorrow, basically people who are in trouble, who are in sorrow. They may be anywhere, so you need to be kind to them. So that is also a very good remedy for Saturn in Scorpio. So when it will be possible for you, whenever it will be possible for you, you can consider being charitable and compassionate to the downtrodden. But that will relieve you from the tension. You may at times be very tensed about your work, your profession, your work may cause some tension to you. So you will be relieved from that stress and tension when you actually somehow are able to think of others, and you are being selfless and charitable, okay, towards others. Now let's move on to Saturn in Sagittarius. When you have Saturn in Sagittarius, definitely you actually your profession may be connected to teaching, to knowledge. Alright, so to knowledge and teaching, higher knowledge. Saturn in Sagittarius, you could be a teacher in a teacher or professor in a university, in a college. You could be into teaching, you could be into counseling, you could be a consultant. Saturn in Sagittarius, you could be any kind of consultant. Alright, so yeah, so Saturn in Sagittarius, you could be a consultant, you could be a healer. Alright, so definitely you can do all of that. Now Saturn in Sagittarius, for your profession you may need to undertake foreign travel. So if you undertake foreign travel for your profession, it can be good for you. Suppose you go to a foreign land because of your profession, you may go away from your father because of your profession. That's possible. So that can make you fortunate. Going to a foreign land for your profession can make you fortunate. Or also, then Saturn in Sagittarius, you could definitely be a priest. You could maybe you are a religious preacher, okay, you are preaching whatever is there in the religious texts. You could be even a spiritual guide, for that matter. You could be a guide. So because Sagittarius is a sign of being a guide, a counselor, so you could be into any counseling. You could even be a psychological counselor, because a psychological counselor is also a guide. Alright, so Sagittarius is the sign of someone. It is a sign which denotes somebody who is into counseling, who is into guiding others. Okay, so Saturn in Sagittarius, yeah, so all these professions will be good for you. Now how Jupiter is placed in the chart, that you have to see. Okay, say if Jupiter is in the 8th house, if Jupiter is connected to Mars, if Jupiter is connected to Ketu or 8th Lord, you can get into occult knowledge. Like that you have to see. You can get into research, investigation, occult knowledge also. So if dispositor is somehow having some connection with the 8th Lord or Ketu, then occult knowledge, research, investigation, etc. will be very good for you if you have Saturn in Sagittarius. Okay, now Saturn in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So you will do well in your profession only because of the knowledge that you have. Okay, it is your knowledge which you have to make use of in your profession. All right, so it is your knowledge which will enable you to see growth, expansion in your profession. Okay, you may be into endless exploration of things also when you have Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn in Sagittarius people, they always want to move towards higher knowledge, and they want to explore new things, new horizons. Okay, so they want to extend the knowledge that they already have. So they move towards knowledge, and they keep upgrading their knowledge, they keep upgrading themselves. So yeah, all these things will enable you to become fortunate because of your profession. All right, now Saturn in Sagittarius, you may see that you may also encounter obstacles in at times getting lucky. You may think that, oh, whenever I'm not lucky in my profession, you may at times feel that way, or I'm not lucky in life, because Sagittarius is a sign of fortune. Saturn is there, so some obstacles, but you know what is the key to removing those obstacles from your fortune, from your path of fortune? The key is only focusing on your knowledge and using your knowledge in your profession. That is the key actually. So when you are focusing on your knowledge, when you are upgrading your knowledge, and you're using your knowledge to help others, maybe if you're into counseling, okay, if you are into teaching, you're imparting your knowledge. If you're a religious preacher, priest, you're also imparting your knowledge. You're doing that, and that will enable, because Saturn wants you to give away something and be selfless. So here Saturn wants you to give away your knowledge. So that's what you have to know, that you have to impart your knowledge, and that will enable you to become successful in your profession, and you will become fortunate also in life. You know, when you are successfully imparting your knowledge, you know, to others who need that knowledge. It could be any knowledge of any subject. So you could be a teacher in any subject. It could be occult knowledge. It could be the knowledge of religion, philosophy, the knowledge of the Vedas, Vedic knowledge. It could be any sort of knowledge. It could be the knowledge of psychology, knowledge of the human mind and the subconscious. You could be a psychological counselor, healer. So when you're doing all of that, you will get very good results. All right. So your profession could be anything, but yeah, Sagittarius is also the sign of focusing. You know, people who have Sagittarius, a prominent Sagittarius sign, or important planets like Saturn are in Sagittarius, then they really have to be goal oriented, and they are. If Jupiter is well placed, they will be goal oriented. Okay, so Sagittarius people, when you have Saturn in Sagittarius, you really need to be goal oriented. All right, and you need to chase that goal, that I have to attain knowledge, I have to attain this next goal in my profession. All right, so when you keep chasing your goals, and when you keep extending your horizons of knowledge, experience, okay, and then you will see growth and expansion in your profession over time, and you will get fortunate as well, okay, because of your profession. And Sagittarius is part of the Dharma trine, so it is the trine of your inherent nature, personality, your character. So acquiring knowledge, okay, focusing on knowledge, that could be your inherent nature if Jupiter is well placed in the chart. Okay, so yeah, that is something which you are born in this lifetime. That is the karma in this life. Actually, your karma in this life is that you have to focus on gaining knowledge, acquiring knowledge, and imparting knowledge to others. All right, and that will transform, and that will bring about a positive change in your life, because fire sign, okay, remember, fire signs are signs of change. Sagittarius is also the sign of change. So a positive change will come in your life when you are imparting knowledge to others, when you are focusing on your work, okay, when you are every day you are upgrading yourself, you are upgrading your knowledge, okay, and you are exploring new things every day. All right, and that is extending your horizon of knowledge and experience. So that will enable you to become very prosperous, that will enable you to become very successful in your profession if you have Saturn in Sagittarius, and you will become fortunate also over time. Okay, all right, now let's move on to when you have Saturn in Sagittarius, also find out how Jupiter and how Sun is placed in your chart. That is also important. Sun and Jupiter, if they are more or less well placed, if not, do remedies. Okay, if more or less well placed, then you will be self-confident and you will move towards gaining knowledge. That will be the purpose of your life, and that is your karma in this lifetime, actually, to gain knowledge. Now let's move on to Saturn in Capricorn. Wow, in this sign Saturn feels comfortable. It is Saturn's own sign. Capricorn is a sign of hard work. Capricorn is a sign of structure, responsibility. It is a sign of authority as well, rules, regulations. So you could be working in some big organization. If Saturn is in Capricorn and Saturn is not afflicted, and then you will see that such people will and also this is the 10th house, no? Yeah, so I mean 10th house, we have the sign of Capricorn originally. So if such people, generally, if the ascendant lord is also more or less well placed, such people, they can work in big organizations, even corporate sectors, okay, and they can be at very high posts also. So if they're really focusing on their hard work, eventually they can reach top posts, okay, at the administrative level. Okay, they can acquire high administrative posts. They can be at the top of the administration, or even in big organizations. It's possible. Okay, Saturn and Capricorn people, they may do job also. They also may be into business also. Yeah, depends on certain other things, whether you will do job or business. For that we need to look at your 6th house, even 1st house. Okay, 6th house is also for job, and 1st house will show about will say whether you should do business. Even the 10th house shows how successful you're going to be in your profession, whether business or job. So you could be into anything, job or business, but you will always believe in being methodical. You will be you will believe in being very structure oriented, goal oriented, very systematic when it comes to work. Okay, so yeah, if Saturn is well placed, then definitely your disciplined nature and your diligent nature will enable you to become very successful in your profession. Okay, you can work with top organizations, with very big organizations or companies, even with foreign MNCs. You can work and you can be very successful in your profession over time. So Saturn will give you results over time if you have been working hard and you have been diligent, competent, perseverant, patient. Then you will get very good results with Saturn and Capricorn. Okay, and you can be very, very successful in your profession. Right, your profession eventually will enable you to gain authority, position of power within the organization. That is why I said you could be at the topmost level, even in the administration of the company or organization. Okay, so you can eventually, by dint of your hard work, perseverance and focus, eventually you can gain, by dint of your discipline, you can gain authority and power within the organization. And then in future you will be in a position to command. You will be in a position to dictate what others should do. So you will gain power, position, authority over time. So when you have Saturn and Capricorn, definitely these things can happen. Okay, so you believe in structure, you believe in following a certain structure, and later on you will rise to the top. Okay, and you will also make others follow your example. You will make others follow you. Eventually others will look up to you for guidance, and they will obey you. They will obey your orders, your dictates. Okay, so this can happen when you have Saturn in Capricorn. This is generally a very good placement for Saturn. Here this is Capricorn is part of the Earth trine, the trine of materialistic pursuits. So such a person, when they have Saturn in Capricorn, they are very, very in Earth sign. Again, they could be calm, methodical, very systematic. They would believe in their day-to-day growth, day-to-day efforts, and they would also focus on gaining wealth from their profession. So because they are very practical, so practical approach to work, that I am working because I have to gain money eventually. Okay, so yeah, very practical approach, very methodical approach to work. Yeah, so these things will take you a long way in being successful in life. And so this position of Saturn, it can really make you a very successful professional. It could be any kind of profession. Now Saturn in Capricorn, all right, so yeah, your public image also eventually, when you gain authority and position because of power, then you could also have a certain public image which could be very powerful. You could become someone very influential also over time, okay, when you have Saturn in Capricorn. Yeah, so because Capricorn is ultimately the sign of the house of karma, and Saturn is also the lord of karma. So Saturn is in Capricorn, so here Saturn feels very comfortable. Such people, they have to believe in their efforts, and they have to they will get reward for their work. They will be rewarded over time, definitely, if they really believe in structure and discipline and hard work. They will be rewarded over time for their work. Now let's move on to Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius is again an air sign, the sign of intelligence, intellectual insights, even research. So when you have Saturn in Aquarius, you can do very well if you're into any field of research, investigation. You could be a scientist, you could be an occultist. Saturn in Aquarius is a very good position of Saturn for being into occult field. Okay, any occult fields you can be into. You could do very well as any investigator, any kind of investigator, researcher. You will also be very creative when you have Saturn in Aquarius. Actually, you will use, now Saturn should not be afflicted in the chart, okay? Then you will see, and also see how Jupiter is placed in the chart, okay? If they are more or less well placed, then you will see that you will be able to use your creativity, your knowledge, your intellectual insights in your profession. All the creativity that you have, your creative ideas, you will use all of them in your profession. You will use your originality, all right? And you will have very extraordinary insights into things, okay? Your way of looking at things will be very extraordinary, unconventional, groundbreaking, very original, very creative, okay? So yeah, because you are very thoughtful, people who have Saturn in Aquarius, so that such people, they can do very well in the field of research and investigation, as I told you. Now suppose you have this position, Saturn in Aquarius, you need to just focus on your endeavors. That's what you need to do. You need to come up with your ideas also, okay? And you will get ideas only when you acquire knowledge, actually, okay? That is why Aquarius is in the 11th house, and the significator of 11th house is also Jupiter. So ideas will come to you when you gain knowledge. And Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, so Saturn is here. Saturn here will show focusing on your work, going to the very depth of things, okay? That Saturn will show. So that is why the secret to doing well is just to focus on knowledge, gaining knowledge, and come up with your ideas, come up with original, fresh ideas, creative ideas and inputs, use them in your profession. So this is a wonderful position for somebody who's into independent business, actually. So if you're doing an independent business, you will do very well, you will excel if you have Saturn in Aquarius, because now you are conducting research, you have your original thoughts, ideas, you're using them. There's nobody to restrain you, all right? So if Jupiter and Saturn are well placed in the chart, say Saturn is in Aquarius and it is not afflicted, then you will do very well. Now even if Saturn is being aspected by Rahu, if you have moved to a foreign land because of your profession, you will do well. If Saturn is being aspected by Rahu also, if you're in the field of research, you will do very well, actually. Now because this house of Aquarius is also believed in some way to be the house of Rahu. Here Rahu actually rules in a way also. So though in Vedic astrology Saturn is considered to be the ruler, but Aquarius is also co-ruled by Rahu, all right? So definitely research, that is why research, going deeper into things, acquiring knowledge, okay, undertaking in-depth study to gain more and more knowledge, and then coming up with new, unconventional, fresh ideas, original thoughts. That's what people with Saturn in Aquarius should do. Even if they are doing a job, they could come up with their original thoughts, their creative ideas, and they could, if they can really prove that they have a point, then definitely their idea will be bought, or if their ideas will be accepted, will be taken up, and that can give them promotion in their work. So even if you have Saturn in Aquarius, you're doing a job, alright, so you can make use of your unconventional creative ideas in your work, and with your creativity, okay, you can, with your originality and creativity, you can impress your seniors, superiors. So you can go higher up the ladder, you can gain promotion, you can reach the top of the administration level. So you could be at the top of administration in your company, organization. So you could be very prosperous even if you're doing job. People with Saturn in Aquarius, they can their work may require them to have great networks with various organizations, various people. So they may have a huge social network also. If Jupiter is well placed, then definitely all this can happen. Or if they're into independent business, then they will really do very well, because they'll be so conventional, so creative, and so original. I mean, they'll be so unconventional, creative, and their ideas will be so fresh and original. So that will set them apart from their competitors, that will set them apart from everyone else, and they will be just unique. People with Saturn in Aquarius, the way they work, it can be very unique, alright. So because Rahu is again a planet which can show uniqueness, unconventionality, okay. Rahu is a planet which can show extraordinariness also, and also a lot of gains from your profession. Even sudden gains are possible, or definitely gains will be possible over time, definitely, because Aquarius is the sign of gains. Aquarius is the sign of wish fulfillment. Aquarius is the sign of your desires, okay, and the fulfillment of your desires. So all your desires can be fulfilled because of your profession, because of your work. If you focus on your work, you will be able to satisfy and fulfill all your desires. You'll be able to attain your ambition in life, and your wishes will be granted in this lifetime. Now, Aquarius is part of the karma trine, the trine of desires again. So definitely you will be able to, and in Aquarius, our desires, they reach its peak actually, because it is the ultimate house of desires in the chart of the cosmic man. So yeah, I mean, such people with Saturn in Aquarius, they can be very ambitious, okay. Their way of working, their approach to work could be very unique, unconventional, and they'll be very ambitious. So if you're into business, you can excel. I mean, sky is the limit, all right, for you. So yeah, and you can gain a lot from your profession. You can be very prosperous, very successful. You can be wealthy, rich, prosperous, and you can be all your desires can be fulfilled because of your profession. But yes, the condition is that you need to move towards knowledge. It's your knowledge, it's your research which will enable you to gain ideas, unconventional ideas, and those ideas will actually benefit even people at large. That is why those ideas will work, because you have to come up with new ideas, innovative thoughts, and those thoughts have to be meaningful again, all right. So then definitely you will your social network, your social circle, and you will gain from everywhere, from all your connections, from your profession, from your business, from your job, and so on. You will gain, all right. So you because it's the house of Rahu. So here Rahu shows research actually. So don't compromise on your moral principles to gain from your profession. That you shouldn't do. Alright, when you have Saturn in Aquarius. Then again you will have to pay that back. So if we are trying to gain something unduly, so eventually we have to pay that back to the universe. Okay, so always follow an ethical way, always earn money, you know, by dint of your knowledge, by dint of your ability to do research. All right, that's how you have to, you know, earn money. That's how you have to you know, fulfill all your desires, materialistic desires. Okay, by dint of your knowledge, by dint of your ability to focus on your work. All right, now let's move on to the final placement, Saturn in Pisces. All right, when you have Saturn in Pisces, then such people can be all right, very creative. Pisces is a water sign. So for your profession, you may move to a foreign land. If you do so, it can be good for you. All right, Pisces is water sign, so you can be very creative. You could be into any field of creativity or any artistic field you could get into. Yes, so when you have Saturn in Pisces, when you have Saturn in Pisces, then Pisces is also ruled by Jupiter. See how Jupiter is placed in the chart. All right, if Jupiter is more or less well placed, then you could be engaged in imparting knowledge to others. You could be a very good counselor with this profession, with this position of Saturn. You could be a counselor, you could be a healer. Pisces is water sign, so you could definitely have great power of intuition. You could be into occult fields, you could be into spiritual practices, meditation, yoga. You can connect with divine energies through meditation. You could get into mantra chanting and connect with the divine. You could be a religious preacher also when you have Saturn in Pisces. Okay, you could be selfless in your actions. You could be very charitable, you know, and you could donate money, or you could donate anything valuable to the poor and needy. So actually, when you have Saturn in Pisces, this is also a remedy. You need to be charitable to the unprivileged, yeah, be charitable, donate whatever you can to the unprivileged. Okay, anything valuable to the unprivileged, to help them out. All right, now when you have Saturn in Pisces, this is a very good position for being a religious preacher, for being an occultist, as I told you, for being a psychologist. You could be a very good psychologist with this position of Saturn in Pisces. You could be a healer, you could be counselor, you could be a consultant. Very good position. Okay, whatever knowledge you have, you can impart your knowledge. That will be your job. Actually, your job will be to impart your knowledge to others, to share your knowledge to others, so that they can benefit from your knowledge, from your expertise, from your experience, from whatever you have, from whatever knowledge you have gained, so that people can benefit from your knowledge. So maybe you have gained knowledge from study, you have gained knowledge from experience, whatever be the source, but if you share your knowledge with others, then you will get very good results. When Saturn is in Pisces, you could be into investment, you could be into any field of profession which is connected with investment. Okay, investment of money. So you could be into investment banking. All right, you could work in any you could deal with loans. You could be an agent. Okay, you could be a bank agent who deals with loans and all, or you could be into investment banking. So you could deal with loans, you could deal with mutual funds, you could be a mutual fund agent, you could be an insurance agent also when you have Saturn in Pisces. Then you're dealing with investments now. All right, You could also get into stocks and shares, and you can benefit, but for that you need to look at the position of the 5th house and 5th lord in your chart. All right, then maybe you could also get into stocks and shares. Any sort of investment could be connected to your profession. All right, you could get into even data analysis. You could be a data scientist also. You could be into technology research also when you have Saturn in Pisces. Any sort of technology research, any sort of field of investigation you can get into. All right, when you have Saturn in Pisces, it could be research or investigation in any field of study. If you're doing research and investigation, you will benefit if you have Saturn in Pisces. Okay, because Pisces is the sign of intuition and also creativity. So you could be into any creative field. You could be a painter, you could be a fictional writer, and so on. Okay, so yeah, any creative field also. You could be a very good dancer when you have Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so any creative field you could get into. Yeah, when you have Saturn in Pisces, you could have artistic abilities and creative abilities, and your profession may be connected to that. And I mentioned that you could go to foreign land also because of your profession, or your profession may require foreign transactions, may involve foreign transactions. So you are engaged in foreign transactions, okay, in your professional life. So you will benefit from that. Okay, so yeah, if you're working in even if you're working for a foreign-based MNC, it could be good. Okay, some foreign connection in your profession. So that could be good for your profession. All right. So yeah, you may undertake travel because of your profession. That could be good for your profession. You may undertake travel. Eventually, you may settle down in a foreign land because of your profession. If that also happens, it can be good for your profession. All right. So yeah, Saturn in Pisces people, they will be very intuitive, very creative also. Yeah. Because Pisces is a water sign, it's part of the moksha trine also. So Saturn in Pisces, you definitely, as I told you, you have to also be charitable. So be charitable to the poor, to the downtrodden. Okay, that is a very good remedy also for Saturn in Pisces, because in this you were born, Saturn shows your karma in this lifetime. So a lot of karma in this lifetime is connected with, charity. Doing some charity. Being charitable to the needy, to the unprivileged. So a lot of karma is attached to that. So do that. All right. So your profession could be connected to hospitals, asylums, ashrams, sanatoriums. Okay, to prisons or jail. Yeah, profession could be connected to these places also, which are secluded, isolated. Okay. So yeah, all these things we can say when Saturn is in Pisces. So yeah, so be charitable, acquire knowledge and impart your knowledge to others also. Whoever comes to you for guidance, for help, when you have Saturn in Pisces, you should actually guide people. You should, whatever capacity you have or whatever knowledge you have, on the basis of that you should try to show them the path, guide them. So that is why you could be a very good counselor or consultant. So this position of Saturn in Pisces is a very good position for being a healer, consultant, counselor, and so on. Okay, psychologist and so on. So yeah, friends, all these things I want to say about Saturn in Pisces. You could also at times when if this position is somehow getting afflicted due to some reason, position of Saturn, or say Jupiter is also not so well placed in the chart, then such people they may set unrealistic targets also in their profession, or more than targets, I would say that they may tend to idealize things in their profession. Okay, so they may want everything in their profession to be very ideal. Okay, but in reality, everything around us is not always idealistic. Okay, so reality could be different. So that is why initially people with Saturn in Pisces, no, they can have a very different conception. They will tend to idealize everything, idealize their profession, their work, that okay, now if Jupiter is well placed, then it will be good that they will never compromise on their moral principles and ideals. They will never compromise on that. Okay, they'll be very honest workers. When you have Saturn in Pisces, they'll be very honest in their dealings with people in their profession. Okay, and they'll help people out, and they'll be very honest in all their dealings. Okay, because they will stick to their ideals, they will stick to their moral principles. But if Jupiter is not well placed, then they may have certain strange ideals and principles which they may form. Okay, and they may also think that I will be able to do this work only if it meets certain standards, then only I can do that work, otherwise I will not do. So if Jupiter is not well placed in the chart, then they will think like this. If Saturn is also getting afflicted somehow, then they may think like this, that I will not do this work unless I am given all these benefits, unless these conditions are fulfilled. I will not be able to do the work. Means they need ideal conditions. Only then they'll be able to work. So because they will live in their world of dreams also. Okay, so when Saturn is in Pisces, it may happen. So they will imagine things about their profession, that my profession will be like this, it has to be ideal and all that. But when they actually go to do their job, they may see that what they expected is, and the reality is very different from what they expected. Then they may lose interest in their job. So Saturn in Pisces people, that is why if Jupiter is not so well placed, then what will happen, such people may even lose their job. That is possible. They may lose their job, they may keep changing jobs, they're not satisfied with their jobs. Okay, they want their job to also, it could also happen, Pisces sign, no? So they want to be, Pisces sign is there, so they may want to be very comfortable, those ideal conditions have to be met, so that when they are working, they have to be very comfortable at their workplace and all that. So all these notions, if they have, so these notions could be again very detrimental to their progress, because workplace is not a place of comfort actually. Okay, there people have to toil hard, struggle, face challenges. So that is something which Saturn in Pisces people have to wake up to. They have to realize that. Okay, so if Jupiter is more or less well placed, and if this position you have in your D9 chart, then eventually say you don't have in your D9, you have it in your D1 chart, but in your D9 say Saturn has gone to a different sign, which is earth sign, okay, say Virgo, then you will become more practical. If in D9 it is Saturn is an earth sign, but if in D9 also it is in Pisces, then you have to do remedies for Jupiter if Jupiter is not well placed in your chart. Okay, you have to realize when you have Saturn in Pisces that I have to acquire knowledge. I have to acquire knowledge. I have to be willing to share my knowledge with others. Okay, so in order to acquire knowledge, I have to go deep into that field of study. I have to undertake in-depth study, research. Then only I'll be able to acquire knowledge. And once I have gained knowledge, then only I'll be able to help others out and share my knowledge. And that will enable me to become prosperous in my profession, or use my knowledge. I'll be able to apply my knowledge in my profession, or I'll be able to share my knowledge through my profession. Okay, so then only when they understand that, then Saturn in Pisces people can get good results. So they have to be very practical actually. They cannot afford to remain in their world of dreams. So they cannot continue to always stick to their ideals, remain in their world of always be idealistic, dreamy and imaginative. No, they have to wake up to the reality that it is good to have ideals, it is good to have certain principles, and it is good to stick to them, but it is important to acquire knowledge. And Saturn in Pisces, if Jupiter is well placed, and then such people can be very intuitive also. They'll be very intuitive. Then they will do very well. Intuitively they will know that they have to actually, if they are creative, they will follow their path of creativity and they will excel in their creative field. If Saturn in Pisces, if it is giving you good results, then such people will be very intuitive and they will make correct decisions. They will get into research, investigation, they will gain knowledge and they will impart their knowledge to others. Alright, and they will use their knowledge in their profession. Okay, and ultimately they will benefit from their insights, from their intellectual insights into reality, which they have gained through their knowledge. Alright, so friends, that was my take on Saturn in Pisces, and finally that was also my take on Saturn in all 12 signs from Aries to Pisces. Do like, share, subscribe, and friends, before I wind up this video, take care of your elders, take care of your parents, be kind and compassionate to all animals, birds, creatures, and and be kind also to the downtrodden and unprivileged. Thank you so much.